Today, we are digging into an AI model that is just breaking all the rules. It's called Mixtral, and it's built on this really radical idea that totally questions how we've been building AI for the better part of a decade.
For the longest time, the answer to that seemed to be a definite yes. But what if there's a more efficient, a smarter way to get incredible performance without just building these gigantic monster models? Well, that's the big question we're tackling today.
All right, so here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the big problem Mixtral is trying to solve. Then we'll dive into its unique mixture of experts approach. We're going to peek under the hood at its secret weapon, the router, then look at its pretty stunning performance and a really cool surprise. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with why this whole thing is such a big deal for the future of AI. Okay, let's set the stage here. For years, the road to a more powerful AI has basically been a one-way street. Just keep adding more layers, more data, more parameters. This has created this incredible arms race for just pure scale. Yeah, this whole bigger is better philosophy has given us models with hundreds of billions, even trillions of parameters. But that comes at an insane cost. We're talking both financially and computationally. It's an approach that was, honestly, starting to hit a wall. You just weren't getting the same bang for your buck. And this is right where Mixtral walks onto the scene. Instead of just following the crowd and building another behemoth, its creators over at Mistral AI asked a totally different question. What if we could just be more efficient? Okay, so here's the core idea, and it's brilliant. A traditional AI model, it's like one giant generalist brain trying to do everything all at once. Mixtral is completely different. Think of it more like a team of 8 specialist consultants. For any question you ask it, it doesn't bother the whole team. It intelligently picks just the 2 best experts for that specific job. Now, the fancy technical name for this is a Sparse Mixture of Experts, or SMoE. And the most important word there is sparse. It just means that even though the model has this huge pool of knowledge it can draw from, it only ever uses a small, super targeted piece of it at any given moment. So you're probably wondering, how in the world does it know which 2 experts to pick? Well, that's the job of the most critical piece of this whole puzzle, a really clever bit of the network called the router. Let's just walk through this. For every single piece of information, we call it a token, which is basically a word or even part of a word. The router takes a quick look at it and decides, okay, which 2 of my experts are best for this? It then sends the token only to those 2. They do their thing, their results get combined, and this whole process happens for every single token at lightning speed. Now, this design leads to some pretty mind-bending numbers. In total, Mixtral has access to a library of 47 billion parameters. You can think of this as its total potential knowledge, the size of its entire library. But, and this is the absolute magic of it, for any single task, it only ever uses about 13 billion of those parameters. So what does that mean? It means you get the knowledge and the nuance of a giant 47 billion parameter model, but with the speed and the cost of a much, much smaller 13 billion parameter one. It's literally the best of both worlds. Okay, this all sounds really clever in theory, but does it actually work in the real world? Can this little team of specialists really go toe-to-toe with a single giant brain? Well, the performance benchmarks, this is where things get really, really interesting. Okay, check this out. When you put Mixtral head-to-head with a beast like Meta's Llama 2 70B, that's a model that uses 5 times more active parameters, by the way, Mixtral doesn't just hang in there. It matches or flat out beats it across the board in everything from general knowledge to math problems. And I mean, look at this. The difference is just wild when it comes to code generation. On this benchmark, human eval, Mixtral absolutely leaves its much larger competitor in the dust. This kind of suggests that this whole expert approach is especially good for tasks that need structured logical thinking. So this immediately brings up a super fascinating question. If you have these 8 expert models, what are they experts in? I mean, the obvious guess would be topics, right? Like you've got a science expert, a history expert, a literature expert, and so on. But the reality is so much weirder and cooler than that. So what researchers found is that the experts don't really care about the meaning of the words, the semantics. They care about the patterns the words form, the syntax. It's wild. So for example, in Python code, the word self, or even just a simple indentation, gets sent to the same 1 or 2 experts almost every single time, no matter what the code is actually about. They're grammar nerds, not topic experts.
And this powerful setup isn't just for English. Mixtral is also a rock star in other languages, and it has this flawless memory across a huge 32,000 token window. To put that in perspective, that's like remembering a tiny detail from page 1 of a short book while you're reading the very last chapter.
So let's zoom out. A faster, more efficient model that's a top performer, that's obviously great. But the implications of what Mixtral has accomplished are so much bigger than just this one model.
This quote from the research it says it all, doesn't it? For the first time, we have this definitive proof that you don't have to just build bigger to get better. Ingenious design can actually be a more powerful tool than just brute force. So what's the big takeaway here? Mixtral is a huge shift. It proves that smarter, more efficient computing can give you top-tier performance, which makes powerful AI way cheaper and more accessible for everybody. It's a massive signal that the future of AI isn't just about size, it's about brilliant design. And maybe best of all, it's open source, so anyone can take this breakthrough and run with it. And that leaves us with one final really exciting thought. Mixtral just smashed the bigger is better paradigm using this mixture of experts idea. So it just forces you to wonder, what's the next clever, efficient architecture out there just waiting to be discovered that's going to completely redefine what's possible in artificial intelligence?